you can't use this name. And I was like, man, whatever. So I waved her off. Again, being young, thinking I'm the shit, let's just call it for what it is, right? So we got a letter in the mail, my business address, we got a letter in the mail, and it's, whenever you get a letter in the mail from anybody, they always have to send you like a warning first. Like they can't sue you or anything. They got to send you like a warning just to let you know, like, hey, cease and desist. Like you got to stop using his name or we going to further take legal action. So I call up my lawyer. She call up her lawyer. We talk and it's like, look, DeVoe, you being stubborn. Like you can't use the name. And I'm like, well, the name will, because what happened was she got the trademark, but I started the business in Ohio. But she don't own the business. She controlled the business, like the business name, because she got the trademark. So a trademark gives you those intellectual property. Like it gives you that to where like nobody can use the name because whoever owns the trademark controls the name. And though they don't own the name, they just control the name pretty much. And I stopped using the name. That's what I did. I stopped using it. So, but that's how important it is, right? Because all of us you can get in that situation easily if you be stubborn or if you just don't do your research. But I'm telling y'all now, that's something that y'all can do. And then the second thing, after you do the trademark search, then you go file that bad boy on the Secretary of State of Ohio. You do your LLC. All right. Now, here's the thing. When you're doing your LLC, right, you always want to make sure that you have your operating agreement in place as well. Now, you can upload it to the Secretary of State, but I always tell people your operating agreement is it's kind of like a private document. It's because it's between you and the business, which are two separate entities, right? But you want to have the operating agreement because it shows how you're going to operate your company and how you're going to manage it. So you want to have it. And again, when you do the LLC, of course, in the state of Ohio, it's $99. Every state is different. All 50 states got different rules and regulations. Some states you got to go through extreme hell just to start an LLC. But just got to be mindful of that stuff. But again, in our state, we ain't got to do all that. Like there's no annual registration fee that we gotta pay for or anything like that. We could just go ahead and start it, and we can do all this stuff online. Like they made a whole new system where you can just do all this stuff online, and you ain't even got to worry about it no more. You can just do it online. And sometimes if a preparer get to you in time, like you'll have it within like less than a minute. Sometimes, like I've seen it to where people have it like less than 30 seconds, like LLC, you got it, like sent you the paperwork, you got it online. And that's the other thing, like you want to be organized with this stuff. Like you don't want to just go ahead and you want to just have all your paperwork in order. All right. So again, do the trademark search, go to Secretary of State, pay the $99 fee, make sure you have an operating agreement as well. And then the other thing is, and this is optional, right? So you can get you a virtual address as well. Something like your virtual address will give you like that brick and mortar, like you set up like a corporation, like, cause that's what they want to see if you're an actual and legit business. So you get you a virtual address, and that'll just show like investors and lenders and different people like, oh, okay, like I ain't pulling up the residential address when I look up your paperwork. Like it's an actual brick and mortar space. And I know a lot of people like using USPS and UPS and not Opus, but Postal. I think it's Postal and all those things. Like, and that's fine starting now. But honestly, like if you're trying to get to that bread, if you're trying to get to the bread, like you definitely want to have like a virtual address. Plus, in the Secretary of State of Ohio, a lot of this stuff is public information. So I don't know about y'all, but I don't want nobody just looking at my information and being like, man, dude on some bull, let me pull up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want it, because all that stuff is public. Anybody can go on the Secretary of State and just look up your information, and that just be that. So you just got to be careful about what you're doing and how you're doing it. So you get your virtual address, and then after you get the virtual address, you want to, she asking, do she coming back? After you get the virtual address, then you want to get your EIN, get your business bank account. You want to make sure that you have that as well. And so EIN, business bank account. After you get all that stuff, honestly, you official. Like you good. Ain't nothing really else that you need. Now, I could go a little bit more deeper into it because there's a lot of information. Because a lot of people like will start an LLC, but they don't even understand like when you have your LLC and when you start it, like you don't want to really just start one. You really want to start multiple. And I tell people this is because you want to mitigate your tax risk, right? You want to mitigate risk from a tax level, from a legal, from a business standpoint. Like you want to mitigate all that stuff. Just because, like, if I start for example, if I start like a lawnmower company, right, and your lawnmower company, you got equipment, but then you have the actual service part of the lawnmower company, right? So a lot of people who start a lawnmower company, you could just provide the service, right? That's your service-based LLC. Then you start a whole nother LLC for your equipment. So if somebody were to come and sue you or whatever the case may be, they'll only be suing the service-based LLC. They won't be suing the actual equipment because the equipment is separate from the service. Your services and your equipment are two separate different businesses. And here's what a lot of people don't know, right? If you go to Home Depot, people think that Home Depot is just all under one branch. But if you like Home Depot, they got an online store. That's separate from the physical store. Most people don't know that. Like you got an online Home Depot and then you got a physical store Home Depot. But it's two separate different companies. Like, and they also have another company that is inside the store as well that is also online. It's called Pro Supplies. So it's just which is now owned and operated by HD Supply, which is a whole nother company. So they kind of like bought them out. So it's crazy like how companies just set themselves up to where, again, they mitigate risks. All right. And that's something that you all, if you're thinking about starting a business, that's something that you want to do. And again, this is all optional. You don't have to do it this way. But again, there's a lot of talk out there about how people start the business, how they set it up and different things like that. But this is just some basic steps on how you can actually start it from A to Z and just make sure that you're protected. All right. So now, all right, we have, like I said, we got our special guest, and I think she's ready to come on board. So Jessica Renee, everybody, if we can give her a warm welcome. She's in the building. She's in our man cave. So we ready to go, y'all. Jessica Renee, and she is a award-winning Black, women-owned, certified, full-service digital marketing company. All right, so she has done a lot of different things in this city when it comes to the digital marketing space. And she's also a web designer. Her company does the web design, the graphic design, video. Pretty like it's just like a one-stop shop. So, hey, y'all gotta mess with her. And she always rocking the green, man. I'm like that. You know what I mean? When I see green, I'm like, she got some bread, y'all. She got some bread. Like she always rocking that green. So we're gonna allow her to kind of do a small introduction of herself. But yeah, she's dope. She's done a lot for the city. But yeah, we're going to allow her to introduce herself, and then we're going to ask her some questions, and we're going to get up out of here. So it's on you.
First, I want to say thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
Relationships are important to me.
Definitely.
And so I definitely value the relationship that you and I have, how we met. I don't know if you shared with the people how we first became introduced. Our journey. I don't know how much time we got.
No, we good. We good on time. We here with it. We good on time. We here.
But no, seriously, I just want to thank you. I know how much you value time, so I apologize.
No, it's all good. It's all good. We here with it.
You know, however much time we got, the story of a Black woman is something serious. So, I have a daughter. She's my number one priority, and so there are some things that I'm working on for me to make sure that she is okay. But this whole experience, just walking through the door, has helped me to realize priorities and proper preparation, preventing poor performance.
There it is. Pushing P, baby.
Yeah, all day. You know, I'm a straight shooter, so you know, I just want the people to get a feel for who I am, because I think sometimes, you know, people's perception of you from a screen is totally different than how you are in person.
Get it all the time. Perception.
And so,
stay on reality.
For me, I like to match. You know, I'm not one to be one way and then different. You know what I mean? So this is very intimate for me, and I appreciate you extending your platform so we can just chop it up about marketing.
So I'm gonna ask you a few questions, and again, this is a safe space. So we don't do no judgment, no stereotypes or anything like that. We all to heal, like heal the man, heal his future. It's vice versa for the women, right? So this is our space, and we can talk how we talk because it's ours, and we here with it.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So just your journey, why did you become an entrepreneur, and why did you go into this particular space when it comes to digital marketing? Because when people think of digital marketing, right, they're thinking of various different things. So if you can kind of start, like, what was your journey into, like, what was your why into getting to entrepreneurship and starting that digital marketing company?
Absolutely. Thank you for the question. So in 2014, I took a year-long hiatus. Okay. Some people call it a leap year. I traveled around the world to 11 countries in 11 months.
Nice.
And
wow.
It's the getting to that experience, though, that really gives you greater insight on why it would make such a crazy decision, as some people will call it. But just going through a lot of different things. After that experience, I realized that I could do a lot of the things that I was doing for someone else, for myself, and have control of my time. Mm-hmm. And for me, that is a definition of freedom. Mm-hmm. And so, being in control of my time was just really attractive to me. And that experience was also my own kind of like eat, pray, love experience. I journaled every day. Mm-hmm. So I was clear about the path that I wanted to take when I got back to the States. And it was really that of servitude. So, but extending that to a different audience.
Definitely, yeah. And
my audience became small business owners and nonprofit organizations. And so just all of the passions that I have, I took it and I created Green Pasture Designs.
Nice.
So.
Gotcha. So how important is, like, you travel? How important it is for an entrepreneur to travel outside of the United States?
Oh my goodness, like, it's critical. I know we're in a different day and age right now, but me being able to reflect upon that experience and being able to actually see different cultures with my eyes and eat foods that I would never probably eat again.
Definitely. I'm one of those. I don't want to try. I don't know nothing about it.
I can say I did it one time. I'm cool. Yeah. Thank you. Like, I don't have to do that again. Like, I proved it to myself. You're a G. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, we don't have nothing to prove here. So I think that, going through that experience and then, being able to pivot what I do for small businesses and nonprofits, that was crucial. Being able to experience different things. It really helped me to outline my core values for my company.
Gotcha.
And one being that of grace. I end with grace, because at the end of the day, we're all human beings. And that's what one of the biggest lessons I learned through that journey is that, we come in different shades, but at the end of the day, it's the human person, human being. Yeah. And so I extend grace because I want grace extended unto me when I'm late. You know what I mean? Or when I don't, reach my highest potential. So that traveling experience was crucial. Those are lessons that you don't get when you are in one place all the time.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So that's good. So I hope y'all heard that. That's a gem right there. Write that down, because the thing is, it's easy to say what you want to do, but you got to actually do it, right? And a lot of us need to manifest like what we want. And I'm real big on manifesting, like traveling outside the country. I probably wouldn't dare, but at the same time, when you got somebody pulling your coattail, which somebody is pulling my coattail trying to get me to do some stuff, those are the type of people that you need in your life. So yeah, congrats to you for doing that, especially doing it as an entrepreneur. I mean, that, like you said, it is critical because there's a lot going on here. So with that being said, can you talk about your journey of creating like this digital marketing agency that's like full service?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just started actualizing my gifts. Okay. And what I mean by that is, writing, doing graphic design, like everything that I know personally how to do.
Gotcha.
That's a full service agency. And along with that, once you start to understand your value, then you charge accordingly.
Right.
Because that's your time. And that's the most valuable commodity that we have.
Ooh, time. Time equals money.
That's I started getting sharper.
Gotcha.
And really turning it into a business. So
now some people will argue that you can't be the jack of all trades, right? So how do you deal with that? Like, do customers like to come into what I call like your marketing whip into your company and be like, "Dad, you offer all this stuff?" Like, do they ever get like a mix up? Like, how can you do this, and that? Like, walk us through that experience.
Yeah, I think some people often wonder that, and
definitely.
The way that you answer that question is you share with them your process, how you get things done.
Process. SOP.
Yeah. Pushing P. You explain with them your process and how you get things done, and so that creates a level of trust.
Gotcha.
That people can get a feel like, okay, like she's not trying to hide or just not being forthcoming.
Right.
Because again, I share with people I'm a mom. You know what I mean? And I'm learning what that means. No disrespect to no one, but just how I would like to mother. You know what I mean? That is a decision I had to come into. And I have wonderful examples. My mother, my family members, strong. I come from strong Black women. Yeah. So I have examples, but I had to start realizing how I like to get it done. And it may be different from other people. So it's important for me to share that because as Black women, we do have multiple things going on at the same time. Yeah. And so, that leads to another area of hiring a team, identifying those roles that you can contract out so that you're not doing everything. You can start running point, another P, capturing that knowledge and sharing it with others so that they can get it done.
Gotcha. So have you ever had an experience like where you couldn't get something done? Like let's say you said something about having a team. Let's say you did outsource it, but the outsourcing couldn't provide the service. And that will fall back on you, right? So was there ever a situation where that kind of like happened?
I can't say that I've had a situation like that, just because I try to be really conscious and take my time about who I allow on my team, because this is, at the end of the day, anything is going to fall on me.
Right, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So I have to be the one to, make promises and share processes, but I also have to be the one on the operational side to fulfill it, even if it's not my hands fulfilling it.
Gotcha.
It's my team fulfilling it, but at the end of the day, that customer only sees me.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's something that comes into play, I think, especially with Black-owned businesses, because our brands identify so much with our personality and who we are.
Definitely do. And it shows, like you're wearing a green right now. So how important is like the branding of, because like I said, I always see you with something GPD. So it's in my head, like green. Like it's always, so how important is that, branding?
It's huge because branding brings about consistency over time, repetition. Right. Yep. So branding plus repetition brings about that consistency. So people then start to expect to see you in green. Right. And in marketing, it's a stat that says 80% of people identify color, like they can remember color when associated with a certain thing.
That's right.
And for me, it just became green, and I do it so effortlessly.
You know what I mean?
Do. Like
flawlessly, effortlessly, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Nah, you do it well.
I just it makes me happy, and so it's easy for me.
Gotcha.
And at a certain point in my life, I became about ease. You know what I mean? What makes me happy. That experience allowed me to take my time. That 11-month experience. Excuse me. To take my time and just think about the things that I like.
Gotcha. And So if I'm a business, right, and let's just say two scenarios. I'm starting up. What type of website do I need? Or does it depend if I'm a retail or if I'm a service based? Like, is there a certain website a retail business need versus a service based business?
Certainly. I think before a person even starts to think about a website, though, it's like some other steps they got to get to and go through before they can think about building a website. At least if they want it to be a high functioning one, you know what I mean? And one that converts for them. You know, are you really in business? Are you really about this life?
Right.
You know, then operationally things have to be working.
Okay.
So I would say focus on your business first before jumping to the step of building a website. But even with that information, to answer your question, a retail website is different from, say, a service-based website.
Gotcha.
Because it's two different businesses.
Okay. So
types of businesses, I should say.
Gotcha. So let me hit you with this, right? Because I'm one of those people, right? I'm like unconventional, right? And I'm not traditional with anything that I do, right? Nothing at all, as you can see. But the thing is this: so I have a website, but I have it to where I got some e-commerce stuff, but then there's also but I made my service-based website kind of like an e-commerce, to where, like, you know, Afterpay, all that stuff, like even the services, like I got it to where like I'm shipping, which I can ship items, like I have different, you know, products and books and different things like that, but it's just like, could you, kind of like how I did it, like would you recommend a person does that, or does it like just depends on their overall like business?
I think it depends on its overall business.
Okay.
You know, if that works for you, then that works for you.
Gotcha.
And that's what I mean by taking the time up front to really study your business and understand what it is you're offering, you know, how your operations work, you know, the full scope of a business, all the different departments that compose a business. And then identify, you know, how can you convert that digitally?
Gotcha. So I want you to take us through an experience, right? Because I've seen you do multiple websites. So let's say if I am established business, I'm up and running, but like, do I just reach out to you and be like, look, I got this website, we up and running, but like, what is the process like? What does it look like for you? Like, do you go in and just say, look, we're gonna throw away this, that, and or we just gonna throw the whole thing away? We gonna get you a new domain? Like, can you walk us through like the experience of how you do it?
Yeah. So our process is strategic. I went through a phase where I tried to separate strategy from service. And for me, it doesn't work that way.
Gotcha.
So for my process, I like to start with a discovery call. And people can book a discovery call either through our website or our social media, our link tree. And because that gives me the opportunity to speak with someone. Right. So they're virtually done via Zoom. And I want to get to know you, your business, what it is you're offering, what it is you're selling. I want to get to know how you get those things done. I'd like to know, do you book calls? Like, you know, how our, you know, go through our Calendly. Just, do you have a brand standards guide? So it's a discovery call full of questions. Gotcha. Because I want to understand how you operate. Gotcha. There's no way that I can take on, as an agency, and I shouldn't say a team. Gotcha. There's no way a full service agency can take on your identity in essence, in a good way. That's why trust and integrity is a part of our values. So there's no way that we can understand and do what you do for you as a service if we don't know how you operate. Gotcha. Because your brand is so important. You've done all of this work to establish your brand, to get people to gain trust in you. That takes a lot of work. Like, I don't think people really understand how much work that takes. So I, as the leader of GPD, want to make sure that we honor that.
Gotcha. Now, this is one of the other things that I'll ask you is when you're talking about a website, right? Now, I understand because I have built websites myself just because I'm a creator, right? And an artist. I like to call myself an artist and a creator. But the thing is, like I've noticed, like when you build a website, of course you can code, but there's also this other thing that people do not talk about a lot, which my boy Junior Ivenso, January 9th, for doing a podcast, he's going to talk about SEO. But I just kind of wanted to see, is that something you guys provide? Because I know SEO, search engine optimization, is so important when it comes to people finding your business.
Yes.
A lot of people just go on social media, but they forget about Google. Like all those people searching, you find and look for stuff every day.
It's still the number one search engine.
Yeah.
Number 2 is YouTube. Number two is YouTube. Yeah.
And Google owns YouTube, right? Or something like that. Yeah. So it's, come on, like, so do y'all provide that service when you're building a website? Like all the backlinks and
so we
SEO?
provide a basic form of SEO.
Okay.
So
basic.
that includes keywords, just the setup to make sure your Google Analytics are set up, linked, those backlinks that you mentioned of, making sure that photos are named properly. So all those things, because it's in the keywords that you're using.
Gotcha.
So we do a basic package with our web builds.
Okay.
There are experts like who you just mentioned you're going to have. I definitely want to tune into that.
Oh, yeah,
just because I'm a lifelong learner.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's going to drop some huge
there are
gems.
experts that, that's their niche. So they can take you deeper, in getting that set up for your site.
Gotcha. I appreciate that. So the other thing is, so we have a segment where we got like a healing segment.
Yes.
And we want to know kind of like what are you going to do to heal from like your past traumas, stressors, and just different things. Like what are some things that you're currently doing now or that you plan to do in the future to kind of like heal from those things?
Yeah, so I think that's a dope question. People don't really ask that.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean? But it's like that's important to ask.
Yeah.
So I think for me, number one, like I mentioned, prioritizing, but my life. You know what I mean? Because I'm at a point where I really want to step away from the day to day. Like I want to be able to take a vacation. Like I want to slow down. And we didn't get into it. Like I said, I don't know how much time we have. The story is crazy, but in 2020, I pursued entrepreneurship full time, and that became a different kind of drive than when you're running your business on the side while still working a 9 to 5. And I'm not one to condone one or the other. I think how you make your bag is how you make your bag, and who am I to judge that? When, you know what I mean? I'm trying to learn more ways myself, always. But it is a different kind of drive, especially if you are really wanting your side hustle to be in whatever amount figure business. It's just certain things you have to know, need to know, should know about how to operate a real business, like what you educate the people on. So what type of business are you creating? And then, I'm learning too that running a nonprofit is something totally different than running an LLC.
Whole different animal.
And, different animal. Just from running a business, I'm like, okay, it's important to educate yourself. Is what I'm saying. Gotcha.
So you're going to prioritize your health, you said.
I'm going to prioritize my health.
Schedule.
My schedule. Thank you for getting me back on track. My schedule. My daughter. My family.
Okay.
That's really number one. But I think that order that I gave helps me get things back in order. In alignment. Gotcha. So that I can be the best to her, because that's really my main goal. You know what I mean? At this point, once you make that decision, then that should be your main goal. For me, that should be my main goal.
Gotcha.
I want that to be my main goal.
That to be the main goal.
Yeah.
That's good. And that's why we ask those questions. Like, so even for me, like I just did a clonic, I don't even know how to say it. Colonic? I don't even know.
Not
but it's
clinique.
I don't even know it, but it's like a Colin whatever, right? I just did this Colin detoxes, and man, I feel so light. You feel what I'm saying? So for me, like my health goals is to just do more, like be more serious about my health, because I'm not like a vegan or anything, right? I'm not with the whole vegan tribe. Like, all right, I'm not with the vegan tribe, but I'm with the conscious tribe. Like, I'm a conscious food eater. Like, I don't eat like a lot of red meat. I'm very limited. No pork, no beef. Like, that's literally out the window, right? None of that. But I do eat some now chicken, but no chicken wings, but just like, chicken breasts. Like, I clean it and all that because I don't like the blood and all that stuff, But you know what I mean? Like, I don't. If I see it, I can't even eat it. Like, that's how crazy it's gotten. But I told myself, like, I want to do more health conscious things for my body, for my mind, and for my spirit. So I had to clean out all those toxins, because I was starting to be a little toxic in 2022. Winning all these awards and doing all this stuff, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I'm getting a big head. Like,
it's important that you're able to self-assess and be self-aware and be able to call that out and adjust yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had to. I was like
I wanted to say something else, though. I think the seasonings that our culture uses, we got to watch that, too.
Oh, yeah. How we season our food?
Yes, how we season our food.
How we season each other?
Yeah, how we... I forgot we was in the same
It's how we do it. Hey, this how we do it. It's how we do it. Hey, it is what it is.
But yeah, like just being conscious, like you said, being a conscious eater.
Yeah, that's what it's. Yeah.
So prioritizing health, drinking more water, just the basic things that most of us know we should be doing, or at least we get convicted about, doing, and apply those things. Because health is wealth. We say the cliches all the time, but they're truth. They're truths, and we have to make them action. I have to make them action. I try to use I statements because at the end of the day, I don't know what somebody else is doing.
That's important.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because when you make those I statements, it's kind of like that's ownership. Like you taking ownership of what you've done. And I'm be honest, I hate doing I statements, but I know I need to do it. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I hate taking ownership because I'm like, no, it's your fault. It's not mine. It's not me. It's you. You know what I'm saying? Like that, but that's just me though. It's like, no, it's not me. It's you. You did it. Like you the reason why we're here, cause and effect. But seriously, health. Like I'm taking it to a whole nother level. So I was able to get that off my bucket list. The next thing what we want to do is this. One of our other segments is drop a gem. So do you have a gem that a green gem? If there is what they call it? There's an emerald. Do you have an emerald that you can drop?
Oh my goodness, not an emerald.
Yeah, wow. You got on that green. You got to drop an emerald.
I'm trying to think.
I know gem, emerald. I do the gem part. You do the emerald.
Oh, okay. Let me think. What's the emerald? I feel like I've been dropping some emeralds throughout this conversation.
We need one more, just one good one. Or I can drop something real quick.
You drop one. And
I drop one.
Let me think of something valuable.
I got you. So, if you're not willing to risk, then you're not willing to grow. And if you're not willing to grow, what else is there? Always, always, always be willing to take a risk, because if you don't take a risk, you're still taking a risk. But at the same time, be cautious. Be cautious and be consciously aware of what type of risk that you're taking. Because see, a lot of people want to start a business, but they don't understand there's different risk factors. Just like you got different risk codes. The industries, there's a risk to getting inside this industry. There's a risk to dating that woman that you see that's cute and she got a nice, body and face and she talk good, she speak well and all that, educated and all that stuff, right? But at the same time, just understand that there's a risk, and there's vice versa, with the women. You feel what I'm saying? So everything that we do is always a risk associated to it. So we got to be willing to, one of the things that I told myself, you got to be willing to take your time with every single thing. Because when I look older, I want to look like fine wine. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I ain't trying to be stressed out. Like, I ain't trying to be the dude stressed out with the remote, with the beer, and just, whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know, just something popped up in my head. But, but it's just like, I don't want to be that dude. Like, I want to be stress-free. on trips, like how people do on social media. Like, you know what I mean? They see them doing exotic stuff. Do them pictures even be real? Like, people be doing that exotic stuff. I don't even know if they be real. But it's just like that. Like, you know what I mean?
I've done some exotic things, so I can only speak for myself.
Gotcha. I was just thinking like that, dude. That stuff be even like real, like these real people. But, you know, just little stuff like that. But yeah, definitely, you just got to take the risk. Because if you're not taking the risk, you're still taking it. Did that even make sense?
Oh, yeah.
I think it did.
Mine's gonna be shorter than that. Is that okay?
No, that's cool. I just went in. You feel me? I'm just a little bit. I'm just passing it.
Okay, Devon. What do I say behind that? No, I think the thing that came to mind, and I'm gonna call it an emerald for me because in 2023 I want to be taking trips. Like they say on the plane, secure your mask first before you assist someone else. And for me, my emerald for the people is secure your mask first before you assist someone else.
So save yourself. Before you go out there and be Superman and Superwoman, save yourself.
I mean, how can you save someone else if you're not here to do so? Like, you have to focus on yourself being good. I have to focus on saving myself. And that's not in a selfish way. That's what I've been talking about of, you know, what is it that I need to do something well? Right. What is it that I like to do? What is it that I want to do? You know, people are, you know, not to go there, but, you know, I just lost my aunt. You know what I mean? Like, so it's hitting in different ways. And, you know, life is coming fast. And I just, you know, I want to save myself because there are other people, many other people that I care about that I want to make sure I'm here for.
Gotcha. So just slowing down. It's kind of like slowing down time. Like, time is always going to keep moving, but you're saying like just slow everything down.
The one biggest lesson, so I wrote a book after the 11th month journey. It's called 11 Strawberries from Around the World. And for me, it was 11 lessons that I actualized each month. So we started in Central America, Southeast Asia, and then ended in Africa. And because I journal every day, at the end of that experience, while I was serving at an orphanage in Swaziland, Africa, beautiful, just mountains and just beautiful. I wrote the book. Like the book just came to me, because I was able to quickly reflect on each month and what I learned, like the biggest lesson that I learned each month. And so I wrote that book. But the main lesson that I learned even before taking the trip is that the present is a gift. That's why it's called the present. So, you know, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. We don't know what could be coming at us. All we have really is today and really like this very moment. So that experience just really changed my life. I always go back to it because it's a quick reference for me of what's really important. At the end of the day, like, all we have is this present moment, and I want to make the best of each moment that I have. So that would be an emerald.
You dropped a long one. There it is.
You know, it ended up being
there it is. I know it's gonna bring it out
of you. You do it like
got to bring it out of you. Got to pull it out. So the last thing we're gonna do is shout out a Black-owned business. All right, so I want to shout out my guy, man, always coming through. Sometimes you get on my nerves, but I love him to death. Dre, the creator, gotta get with him. All right, all your video production needs. I also want to go to Big J's. They over there doing their thing. Shout out to him. My guy Big Ron, what's up with it? DBG, Dynamic Business Solutions. Definitely want to check them out. I'm talking about personal business credit. Definitely taught me some things that, you know, to kind of help elevate my business or whatnot. And last but not least, you know, BML, Heal the Man, Heal His Future. Got a couple.
Jeez.
And so,
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you know.
Like, talk about supporting black-owned businesses. That's what I'm talking about. Have a list. Okay, I should have wrote mine down. But
it's all good.
Let's go off the dome.
Whatever come to mind.
I mean, can I promote some things that I'm
doing?
doing?
Yeah. Do your thing. This is what we're here for. This is all about you.
So I would say definitely GPD Creative Agency. I'm excited about 2023, what that holds. You know, I like to do vision planning.
Gotcha. Vision planning
and forecasting. So I'm excited about what GPD looks like in 2023. And I'm excited about being able to take a vacation. You know what I mean? Like just being able to, I don't want to say chill, but just relax.
Yeah, just
you know
relax.
what I mean?
Yep.
Like that's important for entrepreneurs. Real talk.
Yeah.
Take a break. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I had to force myself. I have to force myself to take a break,
Yeah.
because it's important to preserve your health.
Gotcha.
And I just got to a point where I was going so hard, like I get so passionate about something, and
Just going
like, damn it, I'm gonna see this through.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
I'm not playing. Like
100%.
this gonna happen.
Yeah.
And so, but I also have to relax that a little bit. You know what I mean? Like
balance.
Exactly.
Balance.
Shout out to Afton, first black woman president of the Cincinnati American Marketing Association. Her theme for the year is Find Your Balance.
Find your balance.
So I got to shout her out. That would be an organization I would say hit up. Definitely. And your own research. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the website is the first place people are going to find out about anything. Like we, for real, are